Region Evening Edition. Both sides in the Illinois budget are meeting right now for the first time in months. A policeman arrested for murder and a horrifying video have led to the firing of the Chicago police superintendent. And local charities are scrambling for help like never before.
News from around the world, across the nation, and here in the River Region. This is the award-winning Student Newscast, coming to you live from Southern Illinois University. River Region Evening Edition begins now.
Chief Gary McCarthy has been fired by Mayor Rahm Emanuel. Good evening, I'm Cody Essien.
And I'm Zach Barrett. McCarthy's firing is part of the fallout resulting from last year's fatal police shooting of 17-year-old Laquan McDonald and the resulting murder charges against one of their officers. Protesters have rallied on Chicago streets for days calling for Emanuel's resignation as well as McCarthy's firing. Emanuel today announced plans to create a task force on law enforcement accountability. He says the group will review how Chicago trains and oversees its police officers. Chicago residents are also calling for a federal investigation into how authorities handled the McDonald murder case.
It's tragic anytime, and unfortunately, videos like this are going to stay in the forefront for a very long time. So my reaction is as a human being, not even as a police officer or as a boss.
The city of Chicago is currently looking into candidates to become the next chief of police.
I feel like it's the first time I've seen the sun in a very long time.
I know, it's been very cloudy and gloomy. Sydney Kessler is here to tell us if we can expect more of that.
Well, Cody and Zach, you both are right. Today was the first sunny day we have seen in a while, but those clouds are from Winter Storm Delphi. This storm has been moving its way up and across the nation out east, very slowly out east, if I may add so myself, giving us this snow over here. Luckily, though, that snow shouldn't come down into our area, but it is giving about 3 to 5 inches of snow for the Wisconsin area, Minnesota, and the Chicago area, though, will be seeing less snow than those areas, about 1 to 3 inches. But I'll let you know whether this storm is going to have any effect on us in my full forecast in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Sydney. Governor Bruce Rauner and the 4 legislative leaders met as a group today for the first time since the end of May to discuss the ending of the state's months-long budget impasse. The Republican governor caped statements to open the budget negotiation with a familiar speech about the business and political climates in the state and the need to change them. He disagreed with statements made by Democratic House Speaker Michael Madigan of Chicago. Madigan has argued since summer that the changes Rauner wants to make are not related to the budget and should be discussed separately. The businessman first-year governor wants to restrict workers' compensation and liability lawsuits payouts and restriction union power as a way to make business grow and produce more revenue. Rauner and the 4 met privately for a little over an hour this afternoon before wrapping up the discussion. The 2 Republican leaders told reporters a short time ago not much was accomplished in the meeting. The Democratic leaders had met with the press as of airtime.
Yeah, Cody, the state's budget crisis is putting many local charities in crisis mode.
And that makes today's Giving Tuesday even more important. Reporter Brittany Hardaway is here with the story.
With Black Friday and Cyber Monday behind us, today is the global kickoff of charitable giving. But local nonprofits are also worried about the future of their organizations with no budget in place for the new year. Dedicated to celebrating generosity during the holiday season.
Anything that you've got that you feel is a blessing in your personal life or in your professional life, I think you need to realize there are folks that haven't been that lucky.
But with the state still without a budget, giving back and even receiving for places like Good Samaritan Ministries and the Women's Center can be a constant battle.
We have approximately a $500,000 budget. The state has about 1/5 of that budget in grants that they owe to us.
Executive Director Michael Heath tells me that amounts to approximately $100,000. The state's fiscal year started July 1st and will be half over by January 1st.
So we should be about $50,000 down the way. in receiving those funds on a normal year. We haven't got a penny. We still are obligated to serve and do the duties that that grant requires us to do, even though they haven't paid us for anything.
That's why Giving Tuesday is important to local organizations.
But with the state budget impasse, it's critical that we continue to receive local support and funding from other sources, because our state funding, of course, like everybody else, is on hold, and it's 47% of our budget.
So consequently, we are way down on our usable money.
Places like Carbondale's Women's Center are hopeful Giving Tuesday helps their bottom line.
So it's really great this time of year especially to see that people are giving and opening their hearts and their wallets. Hashtag Giving Tuesday
Has become a social media phenomenon that is helping to spread awareness worldwide.
I had seen that yesterday a lot of the sites went down because of all of the people getting involved in spending money. So we're hoping to have that happen for us today.
To learn more about giving back, you can go to givingtuesday.org. Live in the studio, Brittany Hardaway.
Thank you, Brittany. Well, today is National AIDS Day. Learn how to keep yourself protected next.
And a donated mural is stirring up quite the controversy at the University of Kentucky. The rush is on for fresh Christmas trees in southern Illinois. Popular picks this week include everything from fresh pine to trees that are flocked. The Wiswell Christmas Farm in Heron has a steady flow of people coming in to pick just the right tree for their family.
This weekend was our opening weekend. It's better than we thought with the rainy weather that we've had. We're just hoping that next weekend, is better. Hopefully the sun will shine and more people will come out and be able to pick out their tree.
Wiswell Trees is open Thursday to Friday, noon to 5 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
A piece of art that has been at the center of heated discussions has temporarily been covered at the University of Kentucky. The mural was donated to the university in the 1930s and includes images of black people as slaves. The university held an invitation-only meeting with members of the school's community to debate the issue. Administrators say the mural will remain covered until the school determines a permanent solution.
Think of Facebook connections have led to the killing of a Missouri woman. A relative found 24-year-old Shay Ray Bradford's nude body face down on her bed. Now Ferguson police say they have a person of interest after reviewing security camera from Bradford's apartment complex. Say they're investigating the family's belief that the killer is someone she met on Facebook.
This was a cold-hearted monster that did this to my daughter, who he had this already planned for him to come in here and do what he did. She didn't bother nobody. She just wanted life, the best life possible for her and her daughter. That's what she was reaching for.
Bradford was a single mother of a 6-year-old.
An observation of World AIDS Day gets underway in Carbondale less than an hour from now. World AIDS Day began in 1988 with health ministries around the world calling for greater awareness. Health officials estimate about 60% of the people who are HIV positive are unaware of their condition. Southern Illinois has seen an increase of newly diagnosed HIV cases over the last 3 years.
The way it works in prevention is really similar in that you have a level of the drug that develops in cells, target cells for HIV infection. So if someone is exposed to HIV and HIV happens to get in that cell, all of a sudden it hits a major stop sign and it cannot reproduce its own genetic code. If it can't produce genetic code, it can't become a replicating virus and it can't cause an infection.
The Carbondale World AIDS Day event gets underway at 6 p.m. this evening at the Carbondale Town Pavilion.
It was 60 years ago today that Rosa Parks refused to give up her bus seat to a white person. Today, 6 participants of the Montgomery Boyce boycott gathered at Alabama State University to mark the 60th anniversary of Parks' arrest. Her act of civil disobedience led the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. to lead a boycott of the city's bus system, marking an important milestone in the American civil rights movement.
I think it's important for young people to understand what happened back during that time, and we are the actual people that lived this situation, so I think they will be very proud to hear some of our stories that actually happened while the movement was going on here in Montgomery.
Today's anniversary was celebrated by the dedication of a historical marker about the bus boycott.
President Obama is urging Turkey and Russia to put aside their differences and focus on ISIS as a common enemy. Obama met with Turkish President Erdogan on the sidelines of the Paris Climate Summit today after meeting yesterday with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
My heart goes out to the families of those impacted. My hope is that once again, this spurs a conversation and action, and I will continue to present those things that I can do administratively, but in the end of the day, Congress, states, local governments are going to have to act in order to make sure that we're preventing people who are deranged or have violent tendencies from getting weapons that can magnify the damage that they do.
Relations between Russia and Turkey were seriously strained after Turkey recently shot down a Russian warplane it had said invaded its airspace.
Jury selection continues in Baltimore today for the trial of Officer William Porter. He's the first of 6 police officers to be tried in the death of Freddie Gray, who died in police custody, touching off widespread violence in the city earlier in the year. Prosecutors today chanted and marched in Baltimore's commercial Inner Harbor area. Demonstrator Dwayne Davis says they're not going to pay attention if we march in Gilmer Homes, but they'll pay attention if we come down to the Inner Harbor where they make their money. More than 2 hours of protest concluded at City Hall.
A man from Central Florida has been arrested for attempting to electrocute his father after learning he was the sole beneficiary of his father's will. Ormond Beach police say that 81-year-old John Knutson told then his son, 44-year-old John Knutson Jr., held 2 black wires to his chest early Thanksgiving morning. They also say that he passed out briefly but then snuck out of the house when his son left the room. The Daytona Beach News-Journal reports that the police have charged the son with attempted first-degree murder and aggravated assault to an elderly disabled person.
I wonder if December is going to bring in some cold weather. Sydney Kessler will tell us what to expect in the weeks ahead after this break.
And Wall Street began with the last month of the year with stocks closing higher this afternoon.
A high of 49 with a low of 31, dipping down below freezing. Friday, a high of 54 with a low of 29. Saturday, our hot spot of the week, at a high of 56 and a low of 33. And Sunday, a high of 55 with a low of 33. Now, luckily, guys, no snow just yet in our forecast, but within the next couple weeks, I have a feeling we should be seeing some.
Well, for it being December 1st, the weekend doesn't look too bad.
No, definitely not compared to last year. So we're gonna keep our fingers crossed and keep hoping that we're gonna be moving forward with this beautiful weather.
All right, thank you, Sydney.
Thanks, guys.
The Chicago Bulls get a big win over one of the top NBA teams last night.
And the Southern Illinois Miners have a new chief staff of operations. Orlando Totley has more in sports.
Thanks, guys. More postseason awards for the Saluki football team are announced. And SIU's athletic department starts their search for a new football head coach. All this and more when we come back.
Here are some of the stories making news in days ahead. River Region Evening Edition is coming to an end for the semester. Make sure to tune in for our last sports view on Thursday. Saluki's men's basketball team takes on SEMO tomorrow night in SIU's arena. The 37th Holiday Craft Sale will be held in the Student Center Thursday and Friday. Join us Monday through Thursday at 5 for River Region Evening Edition.
Turn that frown upside down. That's the opposite of what baby Amani is doing. This cute baby girl can turn a laugh into a mean snarl in an instant. Amani seems to be confused on why her mad face is getting so many laughs, but that doesn't stop her. This video has gone viral, and who knew someone's mad face could make so many people smile? I think I'm going to start doing that on air, just frowning to the public and see how they like that.
Man, your face is way too scary for that.
Let's just hear the weather, all right? Enough of the jokes.
Of course, guys. Well, Wednesday we're supposed to be having a high of 47 and a low of 32. Thursday, a high of 49 with a low of 31. Friday, a high of 54, low of 29. Saturday, our hot spot for the week at a high of 56 and a low of 33. And Sunday, a beautiful 55 with a low of 33.
So our weather's not going to be too bad.
No, it shouldn't be too bad. No snow to expect this week, but we'll see how the next couple weeks progress.
All right, Sydney, thank you very much.
Thanks,
and thank you for joining us tonight. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at River Region News. I'm Zach Barrett.
And I'm Cody Essien. For Orlando Totley, Sydney Kessler, and more than 100 students who work on Evening Edition, good night.